Brazil was once celebrated as an emerging economic superpower, poised to surpass countries like Britain and France. In 2012, it stood as a global leader in economic growth, with its GDP driven by abundant energy resources, minerals, and farmland. Yet today, Brazil's economic landscape looks vastly different, with its GDP nearly halved from its peak. Unemployment is soaring, public debt is climbing, and inflation is a growing concern for everyday Brazilians. Domestic politics remain unstable, and the government is plagued by inefficiency. This stark contrast between Brazil's economic rise and its subsequent decline raises questions about the sustainability of emerging markets as a whole. Brazil's rise wasn't always uncertain. In the early 2000s, the country experienced a meteoric ascent that captivated economists and global leaders. From 2003 to 2013, Brazil enjoyed a decade-long boom fueled by surging global commodity prices. China's rapid industrialization created insatiable demand for raw materials, positioning Brazil as a key supplier. Its agricultural sector flourished, becoming a top 5 producer of 35 commodities, including soybeans, grains, and sugar. It emerged as the largest net exporter of agricultural goods globally. Brazil's rich iron ore reserves supported China's expanding steel industry, while Petrobras's offshore oil production supplied China's demand for crude oil. Even Brazil's Amazon forests were tapped for pulp and paper production. When the 2008 global financial crisis hit, Brazil weathered the storm relatively unscathed, as China's demand for its exports remained steady. During this period, Brazil seemed poised for long-term growth. GDP per capita was rising, and economists envisioned a massive consumer market of 200 million people that could uplift neighboring South American economies. The government, confident in its newfound wealth, implemented ambitious social programs like Bolsa Familia, which lifted millions out of poverty and expanded the middle class. Access to healthcare and education also improved significantly. Yet beneath the surface, cracks in this economic miracle were forming. Brazil's new global status came with lofty aspirations, including hosting the 2016 Olympics. The event was hailed as a chance to showcase Brazil's economic and cultural achievements. However, the gap between Brazil's ambitions and reality became evident as preparations for the Olympics exposed underlying weaknesses in its economy. The commodity boom that fueled Brazil's growth ended, revealing structural flaws in the economy. China's demand slowed, and prices for key exports like oil and iron ore plummeted. At the same time, political instability escalated as corruption scandals eroded public trust and investor confidence. Infrastructure projects tied to the Olympics ran over budget and fell behind schedule. Images of unfinished venues and waste circulated globally, tarnishing Brazil's reputation. Public servants went unpaid, and everyday Brazilians faced a sharp economic downturn, with unemployment rising and middle-class gains evaporating. As the world turned its attention to Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics, Brazil's economic and political struggles took center stage. The billions spent on the games drew criticism, with many arguing that the funds could have addressed pressing social and economic issues. The stark contrast between gleaming Olympic venues and surrounding favelas highlighted persistent inequality. The post-Olympic period marked a reckoning for Brazil. The dream of joining the ranks of global superpowers faded, and the nation faced further challenges. In 2014, a routine money laundering investigation uncovered a massive corruption scandal that implicated some of the most powerful figures in Brazilian politics and business. Dubbed Operation Car Wash, the probe revealed a systemic scheme involving inflated contracts and kickbacks within Petrobras, Brazil's state-run oil company. Billions of dollars were siphoned off, and the scandal shook the country to its core. At the same time, Brazil's economy faltered further. China's economic slowdown rippled through Brazil, causing its GDP to shrink dramatically. Foreign investment, once a cornerstone of Brazil's growth, dried up as international businesses grew wary of the risks. The political fallout was severe, leading to the impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff in 2016 and the imprisonment of former President Lula, who later returned to power. The broader issues facing Brazil became evident. The economy was overly reliant on commodity exports and poorly managed state-owned enterprises. Despite similarities to resource-rich countries like Australia, Brazil's population size and lack of industrialization have hindered its development. Australia's smaller population and focus on mechanized industries have led to a per capita GDP 6 times larger than Brazil's. If Brazil hopes to escape the middle-income trap, it must industrialize, a path that now seems unlikely. Peak investment occurred over a decade ago, and as globalization wanes, opportunities for Brazil to integrate into global supply chains are shrinking. Moreover, Brazil's declining birth rate and persistent crime rates further complicate its prospects. With over 40,000 homicides recorded in 2022, the country faces social challenges that undermine economic progress. Brazil's reliance on China as its primary export partner presents another obstacle. As the world moves toward regional economies and supply chain diversification, Brazil risks being left behind. Its agricultural sector, heavily dependent on imported fertilizers, is vulnerable to global disruptions, further threatening its economic stability. The path forward for Brazil is uncertain. Without visionary leadership capable of implementing transformative policies, the nation risks stagnation. While leaders in countries like Indonesia have taken bold steps to attract investment and industrialize, Brazil remains at a crossroads. The opportunity to chart a new course is dwindling, and without decisive action, the country may continue to grapple with the challenges of its past rather than realizing its potential. If you are interested in the future of global economies and historical power shifts, make sure to watch the next video on the United Kingdom's economic decline, and you will understand why the United Kingdom will lose the 2030s. And don't forget to hit the like button to help us reach more viewers.